If you find yourself constantly in this mode of wanting to criticize yourself and judge yourself, just know that that is natural at this point because you've repeated it for so long. Hello and welcome back to my channel, or welcome if this is your first time here. My name is Sandra, and on this channel we talk about all things inner work, healing fearful avoidant attachments, and healing out of survival mode. And for today's video, we are going to be talking about why you cannot stop criticizing yourself. If you have fearful avoidant attachment and you find yourself constantly criticizing, and you're even aware of it, and you notice yourself doing it in the moment, but you can't stop yourself, you just can't seem to stop yourself, in this video I'm going to be sharing with you how to actually work with yourself through that, as well as why you do this. So the reason that you feel such an urge to criticize yourself and you find yourself unable to stop yourself from criticizing yourself in the moment, even though maybe you're going to watch this video now and then you go and try to apply this, you may find yourself struggling to actually break that behavior. It is because this is a pattern. But let me back up a little bit. This pattern didn't start with you just constantly criticizing yourself by noticing the things that you are doing wrong. This pattern started with your parent. This pattern started with your parents trying to protect you and guide you in a way where they told you what not to do, they told you what you were doing wrong, and they constantly found things to point out to you that you were doing wrong in order to guide you and to protect you from the world's hurts. So many fearful avoidants have critical parents, and the parents do this not from a place that is malicious, not to hurt their children. Your parents didn't do this to hurt you. They did this because they thought, I am actually making them stronger by criticizing them, by helping them change these things that I think they need to change. And it's funny because this clicked in my own life when I noticed I would become triggered, or I would be very hurt when a family member would point out things that I need to change, whether it was looks, whether it's the way I was showing up. And they would criticize the way that I was showing up, and I would be like, well, why can't they just show up for me with love? Why can't they just support me with whatever that I do? Why do they need to point out all of these things? And why can't they just be supportive? And I realized, like, one time I mentioned that to them, and the response was, I thought you had tougher skin than this. And that was the moment where it clicked that they're not doing it from a malicious place. They are not doing it to hurt me. They are doing it in their own head. What they think is that they are making me stronger by criticizing me. So that way I can change, and that way the world, the outside world, cannot hurt me. So if they guide me in this way and tell me what to change, then I can't be hurt by the outside world. But in reality, that is not the best way to guide someone to change. I've found in my own life, when I sit with myself and reparent myself and speak to myself in a loving way instead of in this critical and judgmental way, that is when I'm actually able to heal and change. Not from criticizing and saying, oh, you're doing this and this wrong. Oh, this again, like I thought we were over this. Like I thought you already learned the lesson from this situation. I thought you were going to be better now. Like when I criticize myself in this way and I speak to myself in a very mean way, there is resistance in me to that. There is resistance in me to change because I feel like I'm being so judged. And when we feel like we're being judged and we're not being seen for who we really are in this moment and how we're showing up, and we feel unloved for how we're showing up, that creates more wounding. That creates more of this feeling like, oh, I'm bad. That creates more of this feeling of, I'm not good enough. But when you love yourself exactly as you are, when someone shows up for you and guides you in a loving way, and you can do this for yourself now as an adult, but as a child, when someone shows up for you in this loving way and they guide you not through criticism, but through love and curiosity and asking questions, that is so much more healing. That is so much more helpful. Maybe it requires a lot of patience, but it's so much more helpful than if someone criticized you. And your parents may have had their own wounding, they may have had a lot going on in their own life. Maybe they were an immigrant going to a brand new country with kids. Maybe they had to learn the language. Maybe they were a single parent. Maybe they just didn't have the capacity and were never even shown this type of love, and they don't know how to do that. Parents don't do this from a malicious place, and that is what I really want you to understand from all of my videos. And I keep repeating this over and over again because I don't want you to get stuck in the same place thinking that you're a victim of this. Your parents didn't do this consciously to hurt you. This is an unconscious thing that they did because they were also traumatized. Their parents also treated them how they were treated. Trauma gets passed down from generation to generations. So it's not necessarily about continuing to blame your parents and saying, oh, well, I am this way, I'm showing up in this way because they didn't do this and this and that. I wish they had shown up for me in this and this and this way. What I want you to take away from my videos is not what your parents did wrong and why you should keep getting stuck in the same place. What I want you to take away from my videos is that this is why it happened, and this is how I can move forward now as an adult. This is how I can reparent myself. This is how I can heal and move forward. This is not another reason for me to get stuck, because we don't do that on this channel. This channel is about evolving, healing, moving forward. It's not about staying stuck in a victim mindset. I also want to mention that the reason that you now criticize yourself is because your parents did that to you for so long that is the only way now that you know how to guide yourself forward. So you think, in order for me to achieve my goals, in order for me to show up in a certain way, in order for me to do certain things, I am going to talk down to myself. Obviously, this is not conscious. You don't actually say these things out loud. This is a subconscious way of showing up because that is how you were treated. And now you take on that internal voice and you judge yourself. That voice of your parent that used to judge you and criticize you, you take on and you now do to yourself. And that is now how you guide yourself forward. That is now how you move through life. And when you don't show up in a way that is up to your own standards, and when you don't show up in a way for your own goals, you don't show up in a way that you like, instead of showing yourself love in that moment, instead of showing up with compassion and asking questions and staying curious and saying, well, what needs to be changed here? How do you feel? What made you show up that way? What can we do to move forward from this? Instead of actually staying curious and asking yourself these questions, your default is to judge yourself in the moment. Your default is to talk down to yourself because you think, if I criticize myself enough, if I judge myself enough, that is going to motivate me to change. But how has that worked out for you so far? Have you been able to change, or has that kept you stuck in your patterns even longer? Because as I mentioned in my last video, which I will link down below, whatever you resist persists. Whatever parts of yourself that you feel like, I can't show up in this way, there's shame around this, I can't be this way, I can't do certain things, I need to just be happy, fun, and light all of the time, and I can't express all of my other emotions, I can't feel all of my other emotions, I can't feel sad, I can't feel shame, I can't feel guilty, and you feel like you cannot feel certain emotions that you experience through your life, then that is most likely a sign that you are resisting whatever you are feeling, and then you judge yourself about that. And what you'll find is that the more you continue to judge yourself and push these emotions away, push these experiences away, instead of being curious and asking yourself what's going on, how to move forward, being compassionate with yourself, sitting with yourself in your own pain, in your body, and not dissociating and going up in your head, the more you do that, the easier you actually remove certain blocks. The easier it is to remove limiting beliefs, the easier it is to actually follow through on your goals. Because you don't have this person in your head that's constantly berating you and talking down to you and being mean to you. Like, how can you actually even do anything productive or creative or anything that feels good to you in your body when you're constantly being berated? And then on the other end of that too is, if you know someone is going to judge you, they're not going to be accepting, they're going to criticize you, you don't want to try because you don't want to disappoint them in a way. So it also keeps you stuck in the same place Because, oh, well, what happens if I fail? That voice is going to be even meaner to me. What happens if this and this and this show up? You don't actually trust yourself to show up for yourself in a loving way. You don't trust yourself to show up and be accepting of everything that you experience as a human. And so you feel such a need to repress certain parts of yourself. But experiencing all of life as a human being means you get to experience duality. You experience good and bad. You experience negative emotions and positive emotions. It's not about pushing away all of those things or making them go away or trying to fix yourself so that you no longer feel these emotions. It's about learning how to sit with these emotions. It's about learning how to handle difficult life experiences and sit with them and not get so overwhelmed by them. And if you find yourself constantly in this mode of wanting to criticize yourself and judge yourself, just know that that is natural at this point because you've repeated it for so long. I'm sure you've heard the saying before, whatever fires together, wires together. So because you have repeated this for so long, and you have sent the signal to your brain, like, when this happens, I criticize myself. This is the way that I show up now. This is the way that I support myself, motivate myself, whatever it is. It does that subconsciously, and it feels hard to change because it's wired into your nervous system at this point to respond in this way. And one way to work with this and change it is through nervous system work, because when you are present in the moment, when you are grounded and you're able to notice everything that is going on and you're able to notice these thoughts come up, you're able to change your response in the moment. But when you're unconscious and you haven't done the nervous system work, it's so much harder to rewire what is actually coming up for you, because it's just like you're constantly going in this loop. Especially if you're in survival mode, you are most likely just doing things on autopilot. You are just responding based on past memories, based on past experiences, based on old wounding. And you're not actually responding from a present place. You're not actually responding with reality. You're not actually in the moment. You're just reacting to past wounds, and you're not responding to what's actually in front of you. And the way to move forward on this is to reparent yourself. And it's not like this one thing I'm going to give you. I say this in almost all of my videos now. It's not this one magic pill that I'm going to give you that's going to change your life overnight. It's doing inner work from different angles. Like, at least for me, that's what has worked, is doing inner work from different angles. Nervous system work, EFT tapping, inner child work, shadow work, feminine energy. There are so many different ways to approach this and to heal this within yourself. It's not this one thing I'm going to give you, like, say these affirmations and it's going to start changing. Say these affirmations and blah, 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 blah. Like, there's inner work that happens on so many different layers. And as you do your inner work, as you heal your nervous system, as you rewire certain thought patterns, as you become more embodied in your body, as you feel what's actually coming up for you and you learn to sit with difficult emotions, as you connect with your inner child and you reparent it, there's so many things that go into it. And all of those things together help you heal, help you stop judging yourself and criticize yourself so much. And if you really just want to dive into this deeper level of inner work and approach this from every single angle possible, my coaching is available for you, and I invite you to sign up for that, and I will leave the link down below. But I want you to know that whatever your voice in your head is telling you about yourself, it does not mean that it's true. Whatever it's telling you you're bad at, whatever it's criticizing you for, a lot of the time, those are voices from outside of you, things that you have picked up from maybe people around you growing up, from your environment, from society, from culture, from religion. Like, we absorb so much as young children, and we take those things on as our beliefs. And then if you were criticized, you start to pretty much hold up yourself to this standard that maybe wasn't even your own, that was created for you by all of these things that you absorb. And then if you were criticized, you then start to criticize yourself for those things. So I want to invite you to even reflect further and go even one step as to ask yourself, like, is this even something I want to pursue? If you have a specific goal and you're judging and criticizing yourself for not doing it, ask yourself, is this even something that aligns with me? Is this something I'm even interested in? Or is this something I'm doing for the motive of trying to impress other people? Again, there's so many layers to this, to understanding yourself on a deeper level and allowing that deep level of healing to take place in your body so that you no longer feel that you have to judge yourself so harshly. And I want you to know that that wounded little girl may not ever go away. She's just asking to be seen. She's just asking to be reassured. She's just asking to be heard. And as you gain these tools and rewire your nervous system and learn to sit with her, learn to sit with what she's asking for, you naturally stop judging yourself so much. So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching this video. Please leave any comments, any insights, any questions that came up as you watch this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.